To start our order to invoice process, we will go to the sales orders workspace. From here, we will click New Sales Order, which will bring up our sales order document. Just like any other document in Acumatica, we have our heading section and our details section. At the very top of our document, we can see our notes that we can add, our activities, our files, and our customization of the document itself. To start our sales order process, we're going to click on our customer box. From here, we can select a specific customer that we want, and then we can go in and start adding our items. We could click on the Add Row button, or we can click on our Add Items, which will bring up our inventory lookup. From here, we can select the item that we want and click Add and Close. The price of that item will automatically be generated, as well as the rest of the information about this item. We also have the option to add breakpoints, which are configured inside of the sales prices page within Acumatica. This allows us to add breakpoints into our items. In this example, if we add a quantity of 3 or more, it will deduct the unit price by $25. For this example, we're only going to have a quantity of 1 laptop. Now, not only do we have our price immediately with our item, but we also have our inventory on hand in the bottom left. Now, when it comes to configuring our columns, we have a very easy option of just dragging and dropping into different areas to easily move our columns around. Or we can click on our column configurator right here and move things up and down as we please. We can also, if we don't want our notes here for instance, we can just remove that column and put it into the available columns section, which will no longer appear on our screen. Now, to move on with our order to invoice process, we need to move on to our shipping. It is important to note that Acumatica has integrated with popular carriers such as UPS and FedEx, as well as supports over 100 carriers through third-party plugins. When we're looking for our carrier, we can click on our shipping and click on Shop for Rates. From here, we can click Refresh Rates, where it will pull up a list of a bunch of different carriers that we can select. In this instance, we're just going to select the cheapest option, which would be FedEx Ground. This will automatically give us the correct box size for our item that we have selected in the previous step. From here, we can click OK, and there we can see that our carrier is now FedEx Ground. The last tab that we have to click on is our payments. Now, in our payments, we can put down a prepayment or a down payment towards our item. Or we can add a credit card to go against that item as well. In this example, we will not be making a down payment, but it is an option. But we will go on to create our shipment. Now, we could go and create our shipment right now through this screen, or to demonstrate the capabilities of different departments interacting with one another through Acumatica, we can save our document here, and then somebody else could go in, say the warehouse manager or the shipping clerk, and through their dashboard can go in and see the order that we just made. So this is our sales order we just made. We can see it will ship via FedEx Ground. Now we can go in and click on our order number and it will pull up our sales order. Now that we have pulled up our sales order, we can create our shipment. Now when creating our shipment, you just have to go up and it will tell us which warehouse ID it is. We click OK. From here, once it completes, it will pull up our shipment. Now from here, we can go and print our pick lists. Now we will just generate our pick list. And it is an important note to know that Acumatica does have its own warehouse management system, where you can include barcode scanning into managing your warehouse operations. That will not be covered in this demo, but it is an available option. Now that we do have our pick list generated, we can go back to our shipments. And from here, we can confirm that it is the correct package. Once we've confirmed that it's the correct package for our item, we can click Confirm. And now we can confirm the final shipment. Confirming this automatically generates a tracking number into our package. It also allows us to automatically print a shipping label through Acumatica using this yellow icon on the left. We can click that and open up our shipping label. Now that our shipment is prepared, it is now time to prepare our invoice. To do this, we could do it back through our shipment using this button here. Or, like we did before with going into the shipping clerk, we can go through and show the different departments. So we will go to our sales order workspace and click on Process Shipments. Then we can choose what action we want to conduct. In this case, that process is going to be preparing an invoice. Clicking on this will show us a list of all shipments that need invoices prepared. In this case, we only have our one shipment, so that's not much of a problem. All we have to do now to prepare the invoice is click on our shipment and click Process. We also could have clicked on Automated Scheduling, like we discussed before, if we wanted to do this on Automated Schedule, but for now, we will just do it individually. So once this is finished processing, we will be able to click right here on our processed invoices and be able to look at our invoice. Once we do this, we can click on our shipment number here and go over to the Orders tab. Within the Orders, we can see our invoice number, where we can now click on our invoice number to open up our invoice. Now, once we are in the invoice, we can review any financial details about the invoice or change any details as needed. As well as the CRM is tied into the ERP application within Acumatica, so our customer terms, credit limits, and other information is all contained inside of one spot. At this point, you can now email the invoice to the customer by clicking on these three dots and clicking Email Invoice. This will now populate our activities at the top where we can review the email or even see a copy of the actual invoice that we just created. Now this is an example of the email that would be sent out, but we can click on the files and see the invoice that they will receive. Now this is a mock-up of an invoice for the demo. This will not be what it is actually looking like when a customer sends it out. These invoices can be customized to have your own branding and logos on them. Finally, all we have to do is go back to our invoice and now we can release our invoice, which is Acumatica's version of posting our invoice to the general ledger. Now, one last feature that I would like to demonstrate before we move on is the quick process function. I'm going to go up and just create a mock sales order real quick. So if we click on this, basically make the same sales order that we just made, but we are going to demonstrate the quick process. So now that we have everything in here, we can go to quick process, and instead this will now generate our shipment, confirm our shipment. We can select print pick lists, we can print labels, we can email our invoice or print our invoice, all with a few buttons. This is giving us a notification saying that they don't need the invoices by email, but it can be done regardless.